Here we go.
I'm good right here.
That's not this type of show. Hi, everybody. It's Monday. Hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Hi. Look at the Monday people. Hi. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new week, a new month. It's June, everybody. It's June. I love our Monday crowds lately. They're like Friday crowds on a Monday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hello. Got the purple suit on? That's right, sunshine. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the show. Please save a lot of that love for the one and only. It's Miss Kendall. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
How you doing?
Morning.
You're between. Now, let me talk about. I tell you guys everything. I break down the fourth wall. If something messes up, I tell you. If we forget something, I tell you. You're gonna notice that Kendall's standing in slightly a different. You're surrounded by my heads, which is frightening.
It's great.
Yeah, we have. The audience can see it. We're excited. If you watch us here in the Twin Cities, you know that our home base, our station, our owners, Fox 9, and across the hall we have the Fox 9 news studios where they're being redone. They're getting a fancy new set over there. It's
Beautiful.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm a nerd. I just said I'm a nerd with this kind of thing. I love sets. Wait till you see it. You're going to love it. Everyone's going to look fabulous. It's unlike any other set in the market. Anyway, so for about a month, the news folks are living in here and using our set in the morning. So there's news stuff all over the place. So they've moved right behind Kendall is literally the weather green wall. So it's just we're gonna welcome our guest with love, aren't we, Kendall? We're gonna welcome them as long as they clean up after themselves,
Yes.
right, Kendall?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if not, yes. If not, they'll get a strongly worded email.
It's kind of, I don't mind it because I hang out literally behind me now in the mornings.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do traffic, and Cody and I just hang out in our little hovel. Then we go to this green screen right over here, and now I'm back.
Well, and I just want to say, I talk about this a lot. Our behind-the-scenes folks that don't ever get the credit they deserve. And a month like this is hard for the crew. And as always, they're the best around, and they're doing a fabulous job, and they're going to this month. So thanks to the crew for getting us through this. Thanks for the crew. Okay, everybody, let's get started. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. The Jonas Brothers are in the middle of a giant comeback. Their song "Sucker" is their first #1 hit. It sounds funny to say, doesn't it, audience? Anyway, they chatted with one of my favorite shows, the CBS Sunday Morning. I love that show so much. I sip my coffee while I love it. And this was interesting. They opened up about what led to their split back in 2013. Fascinating. Look at this.
What was happening with you guys specifically that led to the breakup?
There's a lot of things, and to call it creative differences is almost too simple. And I think a lot of people lost the appetite for what we were putting into the world. So, we were putting up shows that weren't selling. We were making music that I don't think we were all super proud of, and it wasn't connecting. And on top of that, the root of all these real issues was that our relationship was becoming strained. So I had a very tough conversation with them where I laid it out for them. I said, I feel like the Jonas Brothers should be no more, and we should go on individual journeys. And didn't go so well. And I feared that they would never speak to me again.
Really?
For real, yeah. And it took a couple months of tricky conversations and navigating all that for us to be able to reconnect just as family again.
It would be hard. The Jonas Brothers formed a group back in 2005 and became pop stars thanks to the Disney Channel. Their new album, Happiness Begins, comes out this week. It would be hard. If you look at the history of music, and bands break up because of egos, and one star in the band becomes bigger than the others. You see it, Aerosmith has had famous fights because of Steven Tyler. They didn't like that he joined American Idol. NSYNC, Justin Timberlake went off and had a solo career, leaving behind the other guys. Beyonce with Destiny's Child. This Nick, the one that spoke there, is arguably, I always, audience, I gotta tell you this, I'm always very, Evan knows what I'm gonna say, I'm always very cautious saying anything critical about the Jonas Brothers, because about 7 years ago, we had one of the Jonai on the radio show, and he said maybe 17 words in 4 minutes. I'm not joking. I was like, so how are you? Fine. And so I went on the air the next day, and I was like, that was rough. I had teenagers attacking me in Australia. Yeah. I'll never forget it. I had a 14-year-old girl in Louisiana say that I should be neutered. Yeah.
Like a cat?
Like a cat, girl.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Well,
she was 14! And I thought, I'm never mentioning the Jonas. Anyway, so I say, arguably Nick Jonas is the most successful. He had a great solo career. That has to bruise the egos. Then you add in the family factor, i.e. that's a tricky field.
And if you remember back when they first split, Joe was kind of the big one. Joe was always the center of everything. Nick was the oldest. He had a family, so he was Nick, not Nick, the other one, Kevin. Kevin was the oldest, so he had a family. So they've all had their moments.
Yeah, Kevin was successful. He has that side group. What's it called? They did the Pie by the River song, or what is it? Cake by the Ocean, yeah, or whatever. I don't know.
Pie by the River?
Pie by the River. I don't know.
Cake by the Ocean.
Yeah,
oh my.
Whatever that.
Jason.
They've all had their own thing. I know. You're embarrassed of me, as you should be. Yeah. I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
I have no words.
It's
Good
all right.
job.
It was a long weekend of skinny girl margaritas this weekend.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah. I may have done some interpretive dancing to Celine Dion over the weekend. Yeah.
You did not.
I did. It's horribly embarrassing video that you can see on my Instagram right about now. Yeah. I was literally going like this. My friend John said I looked like I was possessed.
The heart of the ocean.
Yeah. Next in the dish, Stedman visited Ellen on Friday and talked about his relationship with Oprah and how the two have made it work for so long. What's the secret? Listen.
The thing about our relationship is I want the best for her. So, I'm dedicated to her happiness, and so that's great for her. And I want her to be the best she could possibly be, and she's done a pretty good job of doing that.
That's what anybody wants in a relationship.
Yeah. And so, for me, I've been able to find my own happiness and define my own skills, my own talents, my own abilities, and I'm satisfied with that. I'm real happy with that.
Yeah.
And so the combination, when you have a good partner that's able to self-actualize their potential and you're able to self-actualize yours, then 1 and 1 equals about 6.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too. I have never, the rumors have been swirling. Well, there's been every rumor about Oprah for years, her weight, whether she and Gayle are gay, and I have never believed the rumors that her and Stedman are a fake couple. You've heard that one, that it's just, you've never heard that rumor?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've heard, yeah. That it's just, it's a marriage or it's a relationship of convenience. It's not real. I got to tell you, I've known enough people around Harpo. I've met Stedman. It's very real. And you don't fake something. They've been together since 1986. So
it's a lot of math.
What is that, 33 years? You don't fake something that long.
No.
So it's just hogwash to me. They're incredibly happy, and I think he hit it right on the head. When you're with someone as successful as Oprah, you need to be able to stand tall inside yourself, and I think Stedman does it. I was telling our executive producer, Jeff, Stedman was successful even before he met him. He's successful in his own right. He's a best-selling author, travels the world.
Yeah, his name's Stedman.
Yeah.
Come
He's
on.
tall. Have
He's
you ever
gonna
seen
be
him in person?
No, I've never heard him speak, actually, for real. I've only seen pictures of him or video of him.
Yeah.
Of course, he has this beautiful, semi-Southern accent. I'm like, whew.
He's like 8'2". He's huge. He's very, very tall. It's like, ho, ho, ho. Yeah. Next in the dish, okay. Jeopardy champ James Holzhauer is on an incredible run. We all know that. 32 straight, thank you. Yeah. 32 straight wins, racked up nearly $2.5 million. But we never thought in the history of the Jason Show we would have to use a spoiler alert for Jeopardy. Today's the day. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, audience. Close your ears, audience, if you don't want to know. Studio audience is losing their mind. Guys, does she have her ears plugged? I'm sorry. Woman in the salmon, I'm sorry. I'm ruining her day. Right here. That's her. Right there. Good move, Leo. Apparently, James may lose on today's episode. Yeah. I love that woman. I think we're going to be friends. Anyway, a video circulating, this is what this is all about. A video circulating yesterday shows the champ coming in second. Once the video was posted online, Sony, who owns Jeopardy, tried to get it taken down for copyright infringement. They have not commented on the leak. Yeah, I bet they won't. If James loses today, he will just fall short of Ken Jennings' all-time winnings because Ken won 74 games and made $2.5 million. James will have only amassed, and I can't believe I'm saying only with this dollar amount, but only amassed $2.46 million. So can you imagine you're that close to the record? And so he loses, but it's not because he gets a question wrong, right, Kendall?
No. Apparently, again, a little bit more spoilers.
Spoilers.
When they go into Final Jeopardy, the person who beats him has a little bit more money, and he bets pretty safe. So he gets the question right, but so does this person.
That's right. And then DeGeneres and her dragons come in and get rid of the other contestants.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. That's me, by the way. That's me.
We were in the meeting today, audience, and the producers, Jeff and Ted and I, we looked at each other like, should we use a spoiler alert for Jeopardy? And I said, yeah, I think we should, because I don't want the emails. It's Monday. Grab another cup of coffee, everybody. We are just getting started. Back after this. Coming up, wait till you hear why a popular exhibit in Vegas had to be shut down. And let me tell you, it wasn't for a maintenance issue. TMZ will join us live with the haunting story. Then, please make sure your tray tables and seat backs are upright and locked because Thrifty Traveler is back. And today, how to score great deals on international flights. Plus, Jared has the hottest deals, of course, and he's answering your travel questions from our Facebook page. And then, how Beanies are helping the lives of folks battling cancer. You're not going to want to miss this. Very inspiring. That coming up. That is all coming up.
Specifically, we're going to talk about medical devices, the modern-day miracles that range from contact lenses to pacemakers that keep hearts beating to hip replacements that can transform lives, as this woman will tell you in a solemn testimonial.
I was very frightened to do a hip replacement. I really didn't want to do a hip replacement.
And she got the hip replacement, and she's better than new. Now, this is fascinating to see her. She's dancing as if she never got a hip replacement, you know.
Admit it, you didn't see that story ending with a breakdancing group of 50-year-olds called, and this is true, Moms in the Hood. And you're going to be even more surprised when I tell you they're actually here tonight. Please welcome Moms in the Hood! They're not here. Of course they're not here. Of course. You think they're coming to a post-Game of Thrones HBO? Them Moms in the Hood. They got better places to be.
No, they're not. Moms, oh, that is good. That's a clip from last week tonight with John Oliver. Well, you know on Mondays we get a special serving a hot dish all the way from Hollywood. Audience, give it up for our friend Brad from TMZ. Hi, Brad.
Hey, good morning, Jason. Hey there, everybody.
First up, Kim Kardashian continues to advocate for criminals she believes are wrongly convicted. What's the latest one? Who's the latest one?
Jason, that's right, and this one actually comes with a little bit of controversy. On Thursday, Kim went to San Quentin prison and visited inmate Kevin Cooper. He's been locked up since 1983. He's been convicted of 4 murders back then and was sentenced to death. However, in the last couple of years, there's been a push and some new evidence for Kevin that shows that he may have been set up for these crimes. So now what Kim and others are trying to do is to get some DNA tested from the crime scene back in that time to try and clear Kevin. However, we spoke with a mother of one of the victims over the weekend who essentially said she's disgusted by the whole thing. She thinks Kim's being used by Kevin and his legal team, and the mother really believes that Kevin was responsible for killing her child.
Yeah, this is it seems like a publicity misstep because she's gotten so much good publicity. I've given her grief over the years. I've even applauded her efforts in this, but this is a tricky one.
That's exactly right. This is the first time when we've kind of seen a speed bump. I mean, it's all been real positive and people who really deserve to get out. This is the first time when there is that kind of line that maybe he could have done it, but this DNA testing should tell us either way. But can't imagine it's going to be good for Kim if it is found that he is guilty.
Next, I love this story. The video you guys have is excellent. So Zach, everybody, from Ghost Adventures, was forced to shut down an exhibit at his haunted museum in Vegas. An audience, Brad, tell them why.
It gives me the creeps just talking about it, but Zach Baggins, he has a haunted museum there in Vegas, and he has a bunch of old relics and stuff like that, haunted objects. One he got recently is called the Devil's Rocking Chair, and it is held in its own little room, and we have video actually of people walking through, and you see the door slowly open on its own. That wasn't the only thing that happened around this rocking chair. A woman collapsed. She started crying uncontrollably, and some staff members have experienced some issues too with it. So Zach has closed that for the time being until he can figure out what he's going to do with it. Get rid of it, Zach.
Yeah, I was going to say, close it. He has it closed for the time being. Bulldoze that building is what you should do.
Get rid of it. Yeah. I know.
Look at the woman. Audience, look at the woman on the floor. That is nuts. Finally, okay, let's go on to
and
less
she wasn't the only
scary things. Chip and Joanna Gaines are Harvard graduates, sorta.
They are, yeah. They completed Chip and Joanna are great. They completed a 4-day Harvard business course. And if you take a look at their class photo, you can see Sierra's there. And so is Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there were a couple celebs doing this, and they're Harvard grads.
Well, Brad, thank you so much. Have a good week. Stay away from those rocking chairs.
Thanks, guys.
I was talking, watch TMZ and TV, check your local listings. I was talking to my producer on the radio show, Dawn McClain. If you listen to the radio show, you know Dawn is a paranormal investigator. And I said, do you believe, and she's also a skeptic, so she'll cut through the crap. I said, do you believe in this devil's rocking chair? And she goes, absolutely. Then I got really scared. I'm like, then if Dawn believes it, I'm not going to that museum. I'm telling you, yeah. Like, put it like in a Cracker Barrel or something. You know, I don't know. Still ahead, we're talking travel deals. Everyone's just getting that joke now. You know, they have anyway. Thrifty Traveler is back with travel deals, but next, David Letterman's Netflix show is out with season 2, and his interview with Ellen is making headlines. Why? You'll find out when we return. Back after this.
And she says to me, when you're 45 years old, you are going to start a brand new job. You can go 20 years if you want to go. You're going to be more famous than you've ever been. You're going to make more money than you've ever made. And I'm like, no one, first of all, in 45, you're done in Hollywood if you're a woman. Like, there's no way, no one's going to hire me at 45. And what sitcom goes 20 years? And when I was 45, I started my talk show.
Wow. Wow, that was a moment. Welcome back. That's a clip from the new season of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman. Ellen was one of Dave's guests on the new season, and there were a lot of good nuggets from this interview that made news, including that one right there where she went to visit, she was very funny. She said she went to visit, this woman came up to her and said, I'm a psychic and I have a treehouse across the street and I would like you to come. And she's like, do I really want to sit in a treehouse? And she went over there and the woman looked at her. And this was during a time period that we're going to run another soundbite about it. This was during a time period where her career was in the toilet. She had no job. ABC and Disney had fired her. And she sits down with that psychic, and then you heard the story there. The psychic said, when you're 45 years old, you're going to get the dream job. And she's like, whatever. and she got the Ellen DeGeneres show at 45. Yeah. So now Ellen goes in that tree house every year. Yeah, I would too. So a lot of you may not remember, but when Ellen came out publicly on her sitcom Ellen on ABC, it caused quite the hoopla. And after a season, ABC/Disney fired her and sent her career and her her life into a spiral. And she talks a little bit about that time. Look at this.
Lost everything, meaning what?
No one wanted to hire me. No one wanted to work with me.
The show was canceled shortly after the season you came out on the show.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
Yeah, well, they stopped advertising it. I think ABC and Disney wanted to just put their hands up and go, we're not advertising it. All the sponsors were stopping, so they just kind of let it slowly die. And the season after the coming out episode was so well written, the most important season, because it was a woman in her 30s all of a sudden recognizing for the first time in her life who she is and having to deal with that and how awkward and uncomfortable it is and how her friends reacted and how her boss reacted and her parents. So it was an education for myself too, you know. No one watched it, so, and no one even told me it was canceled. My assistant told me he read it in the trades.
This brings up so
Can you believe that? I mean, look, now that isn't anything uncommon in Hollywood. That happens all the time when the cast of shows don't find out they're fired until they read it in The Hollywood Reporter. Ellen, because if you have to remember, so the show was fired in like 98. So from 98 until 2001, Ellen was basically unemployed. She would do a couple comedy tours, one of which I remember attending in Minneapolis at the State Theater around 99 or 2000. And it wasn't until the turning point was her hosting the Emmys following 9/11. And she got rave reviews for her performance at the end. Because think about that balancing act. And then she was contacted by one of the executives that was handling a brand new Pixar movie called Finding Nemo, and they were looking for a voice that could bring life to this character of Dory, because as you know, if you've never seen Finding Nemo, the Dory is forgetful. Well, the people making the movie didn't want to make fun of people that have memory issues, so they were like, who can straddle this? And one of the creators saw Ellen's comedy act, and if you know Ellen, if you know her comedy, especially back then, Ellen would start going off on a subject and then drop it and go to something else. He had no idea of the controversy that had surrounded Ellen with the sitcom, and he offered her to the job, and he said, are you going to take it? And she goes, yes, I'll take it. And Finding Nemo then led to a resurgence, which then led to the Ellen DeGeneres show, which 16 years later is one of the top daytime shows in the country. And it's an amazing, you know, and it's amazing. We got to go, but it's amazing. You go from being punished by corporate ninnies for being yourself to now being a success for being yourself. I think that is beautiful. Corporate ninnies. Still ahead, everybody. Getting from point A to point B can be really cheap if you use a different airport in a different city. But is it a good idea? The Thrifty Traveler just walked in, and he'll be up to answer that question when we return. Back after this, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Look who's here. Get that pencil and paper ready. Getting cheap international flights out of Minneapolis is not impossible. It's not, but sometimes you can save a lot of money by booking a flight out of a different city. But is that a smart idea? Here with his latest travel tips, give it up for Jared from Thrifty Traveler.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Now, audience, I was telling Jared in the break, he just got back from, and let's all feel bad for him, 2 weeks in Greece.
It was rough.
And I said, I saw pictures of your wife in Greece with you, and I see pictures of her, and I'm happy for her. You, I'm just jealous. Like right. You, I'm happy for her. But yeah, look at these pictures, everybody.
All the hate should be directed towards me.
Exactly.
It's not her fault.
Exactly.
I just drag her along.
Those are beautiful. Okay, let's first talk about positioning flights. Right. I've never heard that term. What are they?
Yeah, and it's kind of a geeky kind of term. So essentially, you know, there's a lot of cheap flights out of Minneapolis to international destinations. but not as cheap as like a place, say, a departure city like Chicago or New York or Boston. So what a positioning flight essentially will allow you to do, so like right now today you can fly nonstop round trip from Boston to Barcelona, Spain for $230. Okay, so we don't have those kind of cheap flights out of Minneapolis.
My friend in the salmon's literally getting up and she's heading to the airport. Yeah.
So, you know, Minneapolis doesn't have those kind of cheap flights, but getting yourself to Boston or maybe Chicago, which you can fly for $286 to Barcelona as well, you know, you can find, you know, $100, $150 flight to Boston or Chicago and then catch that nonstop flight to a like European international destination for less than $400.
Combined.
Yes, combined.
Okay, so that's the good.
That's the good.
Okay, but there's always so what's the possible bad?
So the bad would be if you're booking two separate tickets, like let's say you're flying JetBlue to Boston and then you're flying like American to Barcelona. Those are two different airlines. So you have to have a huge buffer in between, I'd say 3 to 4 hours, just in case there's a delay or a cancellation or something like that. Because if you do miss that connection, there's nothing that no one's going to help you.
No one's going to help you because your itinerary is with two different companies.
Completely separate.
And they couldn't care less at that
point.
point.
No, they couldn't. They would just look at you and smile.
Yeah. And say, sorry, go get a hotel. Delta, you mentioned Delta, some good news. They're launching a nonstop where? New nonstop?
Mexico City this Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I will be on that flight, of course. I need to make sure that it's okay for everyone else to fly on.
Whatever.
No, but it's very exciting because a new nonstop route from Minneapolis is always great. That's more competition. You know, of course, it's just to Mexico City, which is a great place for foodies and culture, museums, things like that. But it also opens up that new route, cheap flights to Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and Central and South America.
Jared, I this is anecdotal and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but it seems like, and I know during the recession everything was retracting, but it seemed like for a while that I think you know where I'm going, our hub seemed to be, things were being pulled away from us and we were shrinking. Is it going the opposite way? We seem to be getting more nonstops and MSP seems to be getting hotter. Am I wrong on this?
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, business travel is booming in Minneapolis. You know, we have so many Fortune 500 companies. The economy obviously is doing well. And now Minneapolis is Delta's #2 hub, which took over from Detroit, which used to be #2. We used to be #3. So we are growing as a hub. The economy is doing well. Local businesses are doing well. And people want to have nonstop flights to Minneapolis.
And it doesn't hurt that our airport is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
And regularly
That's something that you don't really realize till you travel a lot. MSP is amazing.
It is fantastic. And you don't realize it until you're like at Reagan International or something. You're like, well, yeah, it's like, oh, Lord, what is this? Okay, yes. Now, we talked about at the beginning, Director Leo showed the pictures of your trip to Greece and Lebanon. What was the best? Now, is this a thrifty deal, or did you get a good price for this one?
Well, we did do business class with points and miles.
Of course you did.
So from those credit card sign-up bonuses. So we did fly in comfort, which was great. But yeah, Greece is incredible. You know, the Greek islands, if you've never thought about planning a trip to the Greek islands, you know, Athens is cool for a day or two, but get to those Greek islands, you know, Santorini, Mykonos. We went to Naxos and Crete. And it's
look at those.
That's an Airbnb that we shared with a family of 6 of us.
That's an Airbnb?
That's not an Airbnb.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. Okay, the last picture. Okay, finally, we have about a minute left. Deals.
Yeah, Minneapolis deals. All right. So we got some amazing domestic ones, and I'll touch on some international ones. So almost all these are on Delta. Minneapolis to Denver, nonstop round trip, $101. Minneapolis to New York, nonstop, $187 this fall. Minneapolis to Las Vegas, $153 this summer and to fall. Boston, $155, July through September. Phoenix, $157, July through April. And then some of these amazing international ones. And again, you can find these deals at thriftytraveler.com. The international deals through our Thrifty Traveler premium service, or else you can find them on your own with Google Flights.
I was going to say, Google, Jared has converted me. I only use Google Flights now.
Finally, it only took 2 years.
Thrifty Traveler, Google Flights.
All right, I got 3 really good international deals. So this summer, nonstop on Delta to Reykjavik, Iceland for $471. Dublin, the new route that starts July 1st, $505 nonstop round trip to Dublin, which is super exciting. And then London, one that's not very often very cheap, $580 in August.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
still time for a summer trip
yes.
with the kids. More with Jared when we come back. He's answering your travel questions from our Facebook page when we return. Back after this, everybody. That's crazy cheap for London. Welcome back, everybody. More with Jared from Thrifty Traveler. Don't forget, sign up for Thrifty Traveler Premium. Such a good service. And follow him on social media so you can be jealous like me every time he sees we see his picks. Every time Jared's on, we get to kind of pick his brain. We lend him to you, basically. It's time for Jared to answer your questions from our Jason Show Facebook page. First up, Mary asks, and this is a great question, Mary. When purchasing airline tickets, I see that whole "for left" at this price. What does this mean?
So
great question.
Mary, great question. It's one of two things. It's either a marketing ploy to get you to book, kind of like the countdown timer, but probably more likely what it is, the airline actually knows, or whoever you're booking through, that at this price, so the way airline pricing works, it's in buckets. So bucket A will have so many seats at a certain price. Once that's sold, it increases. Once that's sold, it increases. So more than likely, there's 2 to 4 or whatever it was in that example, 4 seats left in that pricing bucket. So you more than likely should book at that price.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So there is a system that on a certain day it will go up.
Yeah.
Oh, buckets. We learned something today. Next up, Christy asks, is there a Google Flights type thing just for hotels?
Christy, great question. Very timely one. So Google Flights, has been around for 5 to 7 years. But Google Hotels just rolled out.
Oh, well, what a perfect time to ask that question.
Great timing. Yeah. Great timing. We have 2 articles at thriftytraveler.com. Go there. You can search in our search bar. Google Hotels, and we have a lot of information on.
That's perfect.
Ins and outs.
They needed to do that because
they did.
I'm all about Google Flights now. Lisa, hi Lisa. Is it cheaper to buy tickets to England ahead of time or hold out for tickets to fill the plane?
So Lisa, this goes back to that original question of, those pricing buckets. So the cheapest flights are typically, 7 to 11 months out. So booking early when the prices are cheap is key. So like to London, $500 flights are available right now, August through, I believe, March. So, when you see it at those prices, what you want to either do is follow us, thriftytraveler.com. We're going to be on top of those prices. Or set up a Google Flights price alert through Google Flights.
Which works. Let me tell you, that alert thing has really, it saved me a couple $100s a couple times.
So I think an important thing is there's no really such thing as cheap last-second flights. They do not exist. I always book at least 30 to 45 days before you're going to depart at a minimum.
At a minimum, yeah. Samantha, hi Samantha. She says, which Caribbean islands are more affordable to visit?
All right, so the Caribbean, Samantha, great question. Mexico typically is going to be the cheapest if you want to go to, you might not think of it a Caribbean destination, but it essentially is. So, Mexico is going to be great. If you don't want to have a passport, Puerto Rico's, New York Times, #1 place to go.
I've seen so many people go to Puerto Rico.
Cheap flights too, from MSP, sub $300 is kind of the typical of pricing. So great option.
And we're helping the economy get back there, which is a good thing too. Constance writes, hi Constance, what's the best time to book my winter travels to LA, Texas, and Arizona? Constance is, girl, we haven't even started summer and Constance is preparing for winter. I love it.
Winter's always coming, and as Minnesotans, we're well aware of that. So, if you're trying to go to a cheap place this winter, now is the time to be looking.
Oh, really? Right now?
Yes, absolutely. So follow thriftytraveler.com. Every single day we have a Minneapolis flight deal. If you're on Instagram, at Minneapolis Flight Deals, every single day there's going to be an amazing Minneapolis flight deal. I think today's $100 to Denver, non-stop round trip.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it's been crazy.
See?
Keep
it now,
an eye out.
Constance. And
we're
finally,
looking out for you.
Sherry. Hi, Sherry. What's a good ocean spot for a family vacation in the U.S.?
Oh, so many options.
There's a lot of, I know.
If you want, LA, San Diego, there's parts in Texas, Florida, which I know you love.
Yeah. Basically a dual resident of Orlando and Minneapolis. Yeah.
There's some tax benefits there.
There is,
there is. Again, follow thriftytraveler.com. Just wait for that flight deal and then pull that trigger as soon as you see it pop up.
I always recommend San Diego, and I think you agree. Who was that? Sherry? San Diego's a great place to go.
Great vibe.
Weather,
Great vibe.
People are so darn friendly there, too. I found the San Diego folks. Give it up for Jared, everybody, for all of his flight deals. Head to thriftytraveler.com. And like we said earlier, follow him on social media as well and get that premium service if you travel a lot. Still ahead, we're highlighting a cause close to the Jason Show family that's all about raising awareness for ovarian cancer when we return. Back after this. Thank you, buddy. Welcome back, everybody. There is a new movement to get out ovarian cancer awareness and to help cancer patients feel good and look good while they're going through chemo. And it all started with a woman named Grandma Barb, who, by the way, watches us every day. Hi, Grandma Barb. Barb Fisher was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in March of this year. Grandma. She's currently going through chemo, and her family knew they had to do something to help her and others keep the faith. Joining us is Danny and Aaliyah, everybody. Give it up. Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Was there a singular moment? I mean, when you see a loved one going through something like chemo, I'm sure it strikes all sorts of nerves, but was there a moment like around the kitchen table or in the living room where you're like, we're going to do something?
Well, thanks, Jason. Yes, there really was. You know, we found out that my mom had ovarian cancer in March of this year, and she really struggled after her surgery. It was about 9.5 hours long.
The surgery was 9.5.
The surgery. And
oh my goodness.
It was, and it was pretty advanced, as are most cases with ovarian cancer because the symptoms are so vague.
Yeah.
And so it was very tough for her. And you know Grandma Barb.
I know Grandma Barb.
She is a go-getter.
Yeah.
And I think we all thought that she would just sort of bounce back and beat this thing. And she really struggled. And for 5.5 weeks, she was in and out of the hospital with multiple complications from infection to blood clots in her legs and lungs. And so I think as a family, we struggled to stay positive. And we really wanted something to make her feel good and cared for and stay positive. So I went online one day because we had a conversation about her losing her hair.
Yeah.
And I bought about $200 worth of hair things, and none of it felt right. And so I came home and I asked Aaliyah, I said, you know, I want to do something for Grandma Barb that feels from the heart and makes her feel really cared for.
Makes her feel beautiful, too.
Makes her feel beautiful, yes. And do you think that we could make this? And Aaliyah is an amazing seamstress, so.
Yeah. And I said 100%. We could definitely make a pattern that could work for everyone, could fit multiple different head sizes, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, it really took off. I mean, we saw how happy it made Grandma Barb.
I was going to say, so did you tell Grandma Barb what you guys were going to do?
Yeah, so we told her we were going to make her this because, like I said, we just wanted something to make her smile.
Yeah.
And so we brought it to her, and honestly, I feel like it was the first genuine smile I had seen from her in a long time.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I was going to say you put it really well because, you know, when you see someone who is just so full of life, kind of getting knocked down, and you can see just the spirit knocked down out of you. You want that smile right there. That's the smile you want. Aaliyah, what was the first? Do you remember the pattern that you made Grandma Barb the first time, or was it like a favorite one of her, like a favorite pattern?
We did a whole process. It started out with, we have some pictures where the head is too big, the head's too small, but we finally settled on a pattern that was simple enough where everyone could make it, so that way if everyone wanted to pitch in, they would be able to do so.
And then you've also broadened this out. I mean, we're concentrating because obviously of Grandma Barb, but this is more than just folks suffering from ovarian cancer, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. And we started with ovarian cancer because I think until you walk through watching somebody you love really suffer, you know, that cause suddenly becomes much more dear to your heart. And so we started making these beanies for anybody. Really, we've donated them to the Hope Lodge in Rochester, Minnesota.
I love the Hope Lodge.
Yes.
I love them.
Wonderful.
Yeah. If y'all don't know about Hope Lodge, Google it. They do amazing work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronald McDonald House. We are actually partnering with the Minnesota Ovarian Cancer Alliance to have our beanies in their MOCA Cares kits. So they will go out to all the newly diagnosed ovarian cancer patients around the state of Minnesota. So we're super, super excited about that.
And Aaliyah, I don't want to get overly woo-woo about this, but I would imagine for you, you did the pattern. This is yours. It must feel wonderful when you put that beanie, not just on Grandma Barb, but maybe a woman who is just kind of broken and sad and doesn't feel beautiful, she puts it on and she smiles. You did that. That has to feel good.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would definitely say so because at Barb's Beanies, you can see the multitude of prints. We try to choose something that could fit every single personality and could make everyone feel comfortable.
Like Wonder Woman right there. I love the Wonder Woman pattern, yeah. And Aaliyah, which way, that's something
we have like a
Paisley?
Paisley, yeah.
Yeah.
You're bringing Paisley back,
That's
Aaliyah.
right.
That's right.
And we also, my son is an artist, and so he is designing some fabrics for us to use as well. We are doing.
This is a family affair.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
We're super excited, and we're doing a race coming up in September, September 14th in Edina, Minnesota, for MOCA. It's the Home Teal Strides for Ovarian Cancer race.
Well, and we're going to put that up in just a minute if you can.
Yeah, that would be amazing. It's really to benefit education for ovarian cancer, to benefit funding research, which is really important, Jason.
And doing the race, is that the easiest way? If someone, and I'm sure as we're watching, that's why I love doing the show, I love TV, because I think someone at home, this has kind of struck them. If they want to help out, that's probably the best way to help.
Yes,
they want to help your effort.
Yes, that's fantastic. There's funding opportunities. Go to mnovarian.org. You can sign up to be a team. We have a team called Barb's Army. So
Grandma Barb's Army.
Grandma Barb's Army.
Yeah.
Which my son has designed a special pattern of material that we will make into beanies for our team. So Jason.
Hey, if I'm around, I'll be there. I can't say, look, I can't say no to Grandma Barb. Let me be very clear.
September 14th, she's a super fan.
If I'm here, I will do it. I will be on Grandma Barb's team. Give it up for Danny and Aaliyah, everybody. For more information, visit their Instagram page. They're on Insta too. Barb's Beanies. That's easy to remember. And if you missed this, don't worry. We'll put this whole segment on our Facebook page a little bit later. And because they're related to our executive producer, Lori, this will probably be repeated on Fox at 5. You can also see our full episodes on our YouTube page. One more time for our friends. We'll be right back after this, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Give me a hug. Thank you.
So thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. We were laughing, our producer Jeff, our boss, I rarely call him my boss, that sounds so official, but that we were coordinated today. We were both wearing our purple. We did not plan this. We look like a top of a wedding cake or something, and isn't that funny for various reasons? Well, attention music fans, Fox9.com is teaming up with iHeartRadio to bring you a live concert event on Wednesday night. You can watch Tyga perform live on Fox9.com starting at 9 Wednesday night. Again, that's 9 o'clock on Fox9.com. Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. Kendall joins me again. And I was laughing. I looked during the commercial break. Kendall had a kind of a girls' weekend, right? Yep. And I was laughing that I kind of had one with some friends. And I told you at the beginning of the show that I did interpretive dancing to Celine Dion. And I said it's on my Instagram account right now. I got like hundreds of followers just within this hour because I looked a fool. Like you would think I looked a little nutty, but I was a one-man party. I never stay up late, everybody, because Friday I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I was up till 11:45 on Friday night, which is huge for me. Huge. I kept going. I kept saying, I am a party tonight. I was fun that night.
Were you getting like slap happy because you were so tired?
I was. Well, you look at the video and I look like I'm possessed. It is your chance to live like some of your favorite TV characters. IKEA, look at this, everybody. Come back to the TV. IKEA used its furniture and special software to create 3D models for a new ad campaign called Real Life Series. As you can see, IKEA recreated the living rooms from TV shows like Friends, The Simpsons, and Stranger Things. IKEA will list all the items for sale so that you can recreate these rooms yourself. Yeah, I love it. I love the Friends one.
I do too. That one's got to be the best for sure.
Yeah. I would get Monica's living room.
I would say out of any of those, for sure, you'd go with that one.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to a guy that wants to build South Fork, for heaven's sake. So I would absolutely do that. Yeah.
You would actually do it. Like I'm like, oh, that'd be fun, but I would never do it.
I would actually do it. I would. I'm going to do it. Actually. Yeah.
Do it.
Hey, tomorrow on the show with warmer weather finally here. One of your favorites. I love this guy so much. Garden guy Dale K is back talking about what we should be planting now. And Kendall learns the perfect way to brew a cup of tea. There is a way to do it, y'all, and I guess we've been doing it wrong. Kendall will show us. That's coming up tomorrow. But right now, I want to thank our guests. I want to thank our great Monday audience today. Thank you, and all of you watching. If you are watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.